Are sound insulation measurements with handheld sweeps faster than fixed positions? When you do sound insulation measurements, you have two primary options of doing it. And that is the first one that most consultants that I know of, including myself, often use the handheld sweep. And that means that you have your microphone, sound analyzer in your hand, and then you can sweep it. For instance, let's do with a black pen instead. Here's the operator. And then you sweep it in like a 3/4 outline of a Coca-Cola can. So then you get a path that looks something like this. First you go 3/4 of a whole revolution, and then you go up, and then you do it once again, and then you come back to the point where you started. And that is one complete revolution, and it could be like 30 second measurement to do that. And it's important that you start and stop at the same position when you hit 28, 29, 30 and you're back. So you should not go all the way into a new revolution, because that will cause additional problems. Actually, that's a good topic for another video. We can deal with that some other time. Yeah, this is the typical handheld sweep. And if you got a one-channel instrument, yes, it is probably the fastest way of doing sound insulation measurements. However, if you have a two-channel instrument, like the Norsonic 150 with two microphones, I suspect that fixed, it might be a dead heat, I think it's called, Dödlopp. I'm not convinced that the sweeps are faster if you have two channels, because what you can do with a two-channel instrument is that you use fixed positions, of course. So you have two stands, and it's important to choose some lightweight, easy to carry, simple hardware that is durable and that doesn't fall apart. So you should really avoid these cheap eBay microphone or camera stands. Avoid them like the plague. Only buy the best quality stuff out there, because you will regret it and you will end up buying it twice. I mean, I've had microphone stands in the studio that falls apart on their first night of use. I mean, it's embarrassing, completely embarrassing. And so nowadays I only go for the best possible quality, and especially if you're an acoustician, because then you should not cheap out on the equipment side. That's not a good idea. But anyways, if you do fixed position measurements, let's get back to the topic. So many tangents here. I think that the standard requires, is it 4 positions fixed if you're doing impact sound, and I think it's 5 positions if you're doing airborne sound. So what I do then is that I usually go for 6 positions. I go for 3 measurements with 2 in each case, and that means that you could do one here and one there. This is measurement session 1. Then you move your stance and do 2 other positions. That's a second measurement. And then you do a third one there. And of course, this is also very important. You need to do random positions in the room in the Z direction as well. We have got 3 dimensions. So random positions X, Y, Z, and it should fulfill all the guidelines according to the relevant ISO standard, of course. So 3 measurements, and I think that you get 15 seconds on each 2-channel measurement. And now you got 6 fixed positions here for the price of 3. And this is pretty good deal, because what makes this one really nice is that with modern measurement instruments like my Norsonic kit, they can be remote controlled using a smartphone, which I really love that feature, because that means you could two major advantages with remote control. If you're doing the impact sound insulation measurement, you place the one, you go for this first one, 2-channel, 15 seconds, and then you go to the room above, and then you can start and stop the measurements and move the impact sound machine on 4 different spots in the sending room. And then you go down, you move your microphones to number 2 here, and then you go up, and then you do bam, 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 4 measurements with a tapping machine, and then you go down and you do it once again. And here's where you save time. Okay, so this is 45 seconds of measurement time in total, but you won't have to run up and down and move the impact machine as much. And this can be an issue, especially if you're working in the early stage on a construction site, because then it might be quite problematic to move between these rooms. So that's one advantage with this. And a second great advantage, you know when you do the X-ray stuff at the dentist, they usually put the cameras in place and then they leave the room and they remote control the X-ray camera when they take the photographs of your teeth, and then they come back in so that they can reduce the amount of radiation that they are exposed to. And this is the same thing with acousticians. We are exposed to extreme sound pressure level in the measurement rooms, because our loudspeaker has a sound power level of 120 decibels, I think. And this is dangerously high. It's extremely, extremely strong sound. So that's really, considering the work environment, considering the work environment is a really good idea to start, get the measurement setup ready, leave the room, remote control it, and then you go back inside. So you will have a considerable reduction in the sound pressure, the noise that you're exposed to in a work day. So this is actually a lot safer than compared to the sweep method. And that's why I'm starting to lean in favor of going with the fixed positions instead of the sweeps. But like I mentioned, you're gonna need a bit more equipment. You need cables, you need two microphones, a more expensive instrument basically, and you're gonna need stands and learn some tech stuff and such. But I guess it's because I'm very interested in gadgets and fiddling around with things. So maybe that's also why I like the fixed positions better. But you shouldn't just disregard the fixed positions with the excuse that they are slower, because that's not entirely true. You have to consider other options that you can do with a fixed, which is impossible when you're using sweeps. And in today's video, I'm wearing a very simple outfit. Turtleneck sweater and a pair of green pants, which is a pretty casual outfit, because I was thinking about this old rule of thumb: fit, fabric, function, in that order. That's very important to remember, because a good fit is always the first thing you should look at. And then the second one is fabric. This is merino wool, so this is a really nice fabric. It breathes, and if you're sweaty, it's not a problem. So that's perfect. It's not too warm and it's not too cold. It's just right. And then the third one is function. And if you're gonna lift some cardboard boxes and pick up some cargo stuff, and I'm gonna go pick up my son who is covered in mud, then a suit is probably not a good idea. However, just do this little thought experiment before we end. If you have two people coming into the room and you're gonna do some work that might require some work clothes, a bit more rough outfit, you know, like if one of the one guy has a proper perfect fit casual suit, which a suit might not be the best function for that environment, but the other guy comes with the right clothes, but they're like 2 sizes too large, which one of these two would you be more confident in? Think about that one. I mean, you project quite a lot when you are carrying good fitting clothes. That's really important stuff. Fit, fabric, function. A good rule of thumb. See you later.